crochet friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tasha and I run a very small business called Crochet by Tasha. And today what I have for you is an inventory video. I have 3 markets coming up, 2 in February and 1 in March. And I just want to document everything that I'm going to be bringing to those markets. This will help me to see what I need to stock up on before the next few markets. After the first market, I'll look at what I've sold and then I will restock from there. But for now, I want to go ahead and show you guys some of the things that I have left over from last season and also some of the things I've been making over the last couple of months. If you have been following me on my channel at all, you've probably seen some of the videos and some of the things that I have been making in my weekly crochet vlog. But if you haven't caught that yet, then maybe this will be a chance for you to get some ideas, get some inspiration for markets that you have coming up. Before I get started showing you guys everything I'm taking to my next 3 markets, I just want to remind you that I have a Google Doc linked down below with almost all of the patterns. I'm saying almost because you never know if I might have missed one. If you don't see a pattern that you're looking for in that Google Doc, please let me know so that I can get that right out to you. I know that can be very frustrating when you want to make something that you see on these videos and then you can't find it. Also on the screen, I'm going to make sure that I link the maker if I can find it, and also the price that I'm charging for each item. This is kind of a longer video, so if you like that kind of video, sit back, relax, grab a whip, grab a cup of coffee, and let's get started. I've broken up the items that I have into categories, and my first category is Snugglers. The first set of Snugglers that I have are all being sold for $25. They are mostly either no-sew or low-sew and very fast and easy to make, and they are not stuffed except for the head. The first one that I have for you is this Grinch Snuggler. I made 2 of these, sold one, and then I have one little guy left. I think he's still possibly going to be popular at the market. We'll just see. February, people still might think that he's adorable. The next Snuggler that I have for you is this Reindeer Snuggler. He's also really, really cute. I think he would be great if he had a black nose, possibly for the winter. People might see him more as a deer than a reindeer. Still cute. He's got this little tail in the back. I have one of him. This is a sweet little sheep with embroidered eyes. Almost all of my Snugglers have embroidered eyes so that they are baby safe, but he is just a sweet little peanut of a guy, and I just think he's adorable. This is a penguin with knotted knees. He doesn't actually have a tail. I think he probably needs a tail, but he's just a sweet little guy. This is another little Snuggler, and he does have a little tail. I made 2 of these. One is stuffed and one is not stuffed. The other one that is stuffed is somewhere in my bag. But yeah, he's a sweet little Snuggler, and he's also $25. I also have a new pattern that I recently bought, which is Bonnie the Bunny, and I love her. I made 2 of her and sold one, and I have her left. I would like to make a couple more, considering that spring is coming up. I think that would be really popular. I also have a unicorn Snuggler. I believe this is by Mod Threads. I love the tail detail in the back with a little curly tail. You can kind of incorporate the colors that you have included. Some people think that this is a cow, and I think if I made another one, I would probably make the snout either beige or just like a lighter cream, because he is often confused for a cow, but he's super cute. I also have this buck Snuggler. This was part of a set, a doe and buck Snuggler, and I sold the doe and I have the buck left. Super adorable. I think I misplaced the ears slightly. It looks a little bit like a bear, but still cute. And if people pick him up, I'm just like, oh, that's a deer. And they're like, oh, okay. So yeah, and then the last Snuggler that I have is this adorable giraffe. I recently made him, and he's part of another video that I'm going to be making, which is a giraffe pattern review. And so I just made him, and I think he's so cute. I used mystical yarn, and he's actually not part of the $25 Snugglers. He is $40. Took a little more work. He's a little bit bigger, and now I'll show you some of the other $40 Snugglers that I have. This was the other Snuggler that I was talking about, the plushie. I've made him into a plushie, not a Snuggler, because I added a little bit of stuffing to him, but he's the same as the one that I just showed you. And I'm actually selling him for $18. Okay, now we have a few $40 Snugglers. This is actually not considered a snuggler. It's called a sleepy reindeer, but I went ahead and put it in my snuggler category because it's baby safe with the embroidered eyes, and I just feel like he fits perfectly in with the other snugglers. So I have this reindeer snuggler, $40. And then I also have a moose snuggler, $40. He's a very like one color except for the little antlers. The antlers did have to be, I think those are crocheted in the round. I think this is a completely no-sew snuggler. So cute. And then I also have this dragon, which I've had since the beginning of time. He does not sell for some reason, but I know the right person is gonna come along and snag him and love him. I'm considering taking his plastic eyes out and embroidering, and I think maybe parents might feel a little more comfortable with him. I have two large snugglers. The first one is this seal. He turned out huge. This is, oh, I think it's Sweet Snuggles, but I can't be positive. But look how big he is. And he actually was like super easy to make. The design of the body was very easy, and he gets lots of attention at markets. The other one that I have is the biggest snuggler I've ever made, and it is this Loops and Knots crochet dragon. This is the willow dragon, and I just think he's gorgeous. I'm charging $65 for him because he's so big. I love the wing details. This pattern actually has more of a tail detail, but I went ahead and left it a little simpler just because he's so heavy already and there's so much going on that I thought for a snuggler this was enough. But look at him, he is so adorable. The last little lovey snuggler that I have is this Della the Duck, and I just love her. She is one of my favorites. I took a ton of these to my Christmas market and they all sold out. She's super adorable. I definitely want to make more of her, and she's the only one that I've put my leather tag on, and I bought a whole box of these from Etsy, so I definitely want to go back and add those because I feel like this is a larger plushie and it's nice to brand it. And it has my logo on it. If you can see it, it has my logo, little ball of yarn, and it says Crochet by Tasha. The next category I have for you are, I'm gonna call them dolls. And I have 3 or 4 different types of dolls that I have for like going on right now. The first one is Crochet Grove's doll, which is one of my favorite dolls. Like it's just, there's so many fun things you can do with patterns and the dress, and there's pants and there's Disney outfits and so many fun things. So I'll show you those dolls first. I have made reels with these dolls. I have done videos with these dolls. So if you've been following me at all, you probably have seen them, but I have this sweet little girl with her sparkle boots. Sometimes I give them a hat, and the pattern has really cool hats. It has bonnets, it has jackets, it has vests. If you haven't seen this pattern yet, you may want to go check it out. This one is so cute. I need to fix her hat. I like to roll her hat slightly up in the front. And this is the one that I messed up on. I did the color change right here, but honestly, I don't think anyone's gonna notice that at a market. People don't notice things like that. And then you can see this is actually what should have been the front of her dress, but when I attached the head and the arms, I accidentally did it backwards. And so, rookie mistake. Okay, so that's 3. And then I have this sort of vintage looking doll. I love her dress. This I made right around Christmas time, so I was feeling inspired by greens and reds and burgundies. She is as sweet as can be. And then I also have this little girl. She actually has a hat too. Wait, her hat fell off. You can tack the hat down if you want to. I probably should, because every time I take them out of the container, all their hats have fallen off and it's kind of a pain to go find them. But I just love her dress. She was the first one I ever made, and again, I messed up on the color change right here. Eventually, I stopped doing that. I stopped messing up. You can see on this one, I put the color changes in the correct spot. Okay, I think I have one more of this doll, and her hat fell off. I made her hat a little bit bigger. I wanted it to look like a beret. She is so cute, oh my gosh. So in total, I have 6 of these dolls. Wait, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I have 6 of the Crochet Groves dolls. And then the next doll that I have is the mouse. I'll call it a mouse ballerina doll. And I made this one in cream with mystical body. And then I also have this one that's definitely like a Christmas pattern. Wait, let me back up. Definitely like a Christmas pattern with her red and white headband, and there's all kinds of modifications for this pattern, lots of different ways that you can change it up. There's also jammies that you can do. So this little mouse has on Christmas jammies. And I also made one that has a poinsettia skirt, and I actually sold that one at my last market. Look at the little bonnet. I just love these dolls. So I have 3 left that I will be taking with me. And then this is one of my favorite patterns. It's a mermaid pattern. This is the only one that I have left, and honestly, she's a little on the creepy side. I think that's why she hasn't sold. She just, weird skin color. Her eyes look a little ghost-like. But you know what? I know that the right person's gonna come along, little girl's gonna fall in love with her. She almost looks a little fantasy-like, so I don't know. But I really like her a lot. And the last doll that I'm bringing is Poms and Posies doll, and she's just like a little ballerina doll. And I've only made one of her, and I definitely want to make more. I remember it being a little bit of work, and I see some areas where I need to tuck the yarn pieces in. But yeah, she is so adorable. I love this little detail on her arm that looks like she's wearing part of her costume. I just love her. Okay, so that's all of my dolls. Our third category is large plushies, big cumbersome ones that I have piled up on my table like a mountain. So I'm gonna go over them with you. A lot of these are pattern tests, but they are all awesome and I'm excited to take them. The first one I wanna show you is Crochet by Jenna's Standing Triceratops. And I just love this colorway. This is a mystical yarn, I believe, and I just think he turned out so adorable. I definitely want to make another one of this guy. Super adorable. The second dinosaur that I made, and it was again Crochet by Jenna, is the Standing Stegosaurus. Look at the plates on top of his body. Just love the way he turned out. Tricky to sew the head on, but I really like the way he turned out. I used gumdrop yarn. This was all one skein of yarn, and I really like the way it turned out. I think I had to break open a second skein for maybe like the tail, and I went ahead and did the tail in one solid color, so I kind of broke it up a little bit, but with the head, I just kind of let the color go as it was. But I like him. He turned out really cute. Okay, the next large pattern that I have for you was a pattern test, and it is Glaceon. And this is by Red Mills Crochet. I just finished this pattern test. I am in love with this Glaceon. He's somewhere between like a deer and a rabbit and some mystical creature, but this is all brunette, and he's gonna be $45. I will make sure that I put the price and the maker on the screen because I know I'm forgetting to say it, but isn't he adorable? So cute. Okay, the next pattern I have for you is by Crochet Grove, and it is a Pillow Pal. This was not a pattern test. I purchased this pattern, and the pillow is 3 pieces. It's the back panel, front panel, and the little pocket piece. I'm charging $55, and it comes with a little sleepy creature, and the pattern pack is super awesome. It has a dragon, a cow, and a unicorn, I believe, and the bear. So I love the way the legs tuck up around him, and he's just like a sleepy little baby. So cute. I know this is going to be a favorite at the market for sure. Okay, this is a sitting deer. This is part of the reindeer pattern review that I made last month. I am charging $45 for this guy. Super sweet. This is Bernat yarn. This looks like the old formula yarn a little bit, but I think he turned out really cute. Lots of sewing on this guy. I also made another pattern by Crochet Grove, and that is her bendy coiling snake. Look at this guy. He has hand-painted eyes. He will wrap around your arm, and I love this colorway. I can't remember what it's called, but I love this colorway. I'm charging $30 for him, but I think I changed this to $40, so I need to make sure that I change that tag. I'll just take it off right now so I don't forget. And then I also made her snake in velvet, and it came out a lot smaller, but just as adorable. Blue crystally eyes. These are the first 2 snakes I've ever made, and I'm excited to see what people think of them. I think this one's gonna be a showstopper for sure. I have another pattern by Crochet Grove, and that's her standing reindeer. This is one of probably my favorite patterns that I've ever made. I've had these on Etsy for quite a while. I'm really surprised that they haven't sold and that they didn't sell around Christmas time, because I just love the way they turned out. I think this is called frosting yarn, and then this one is in cream, but look how cute they are. This one has jingle bells, this one doesn't, and I'm charging $40 for each of these guys. I made this seahorse a while back. I want to say a few months ago. I've taken him to a few different markets. I think he would benefit from having other seahorses around him and not just like a one-off, but I'm charging $30 for him, and he's super cute. I love his little horn that sticks out in the front of his head and his little curled tail. I recently made this giraffe. He's like a splooting, kind of sprawling giraffe as part of my giraffe pattern review, but this guy took a lot of work, but was worth every single minute that I spent on him. I love the design of his legs, and I just think he has the sweetest expression. I just love him. I almost want to keep him and not take him with me, but I probably will take him to the market because I think for spring or a baby shower, he would be just a perfect gift. I have a few more large items to go. This is definitely an OG pattern or creature that I made way back, and this pattern is actually this big in the pattern, but I decided to make it with sparkle yarn, and he turned out huge. He doesn't get a lot of attention. Most people don't even know what he is, so I guess he could be like my mascot and always like come to markets with me. I don't know, I've considered taking him apart and just like taking his eyes and stuffing out and reusing everything, but I don't know, he just kind of always goes with me, so I'll probably keep him. Okay, All From Jade has a beautiful whale pattern, and I'm sure you've seen it, but this is the big giant whale, and I've only made 2 of these. I made a blue and white one last year. I sold it at a market, and I had like a few other people that were there that were like, oh, do you have any more of those whales? But I didn't, because who makes like 5 of these whales? I mean, I guess I should. So I made this guy, and then his eye accidentally popped back into his head, like the back of it fell back inside. So I just recently did surgery on him and added embroidered eyes, so I get to take him back to markets with me, and I hope he finds his forever home. I love this colorway. This is Bernat XL yarn, and the bottom is cream. I think that's double-stranded yarn. But yeah, I hope he sells this weekend. I have 2 different dragons, and they're both pretty big. I call this one my fantasy dragon, and I've had this guy for a long time. This is Fable yarn, and I don't think it wears very well. It's very fuzzy. I don't know if I need to like take a lighter to it to get the little fuzzies off. I love the colorway. I love the way he turned out. I love the eyelashes. I just think she is beautiful, and I will continue taking her with me. Another one that I have that I just made recently is Loops and Knots Willow Dragon, and she is just gorgeous. Like, I think the word stunning matches her. I love every little part of her. I'm charging $60 for her, and then I've marked the Fantasy Dragon down to $20 on sale. Hope it finds its forever home because I've had this guy for a long time. But look at her face. I want to make more willows for sure. Super beautiful. I just love the way she turned out, and she is made with loops and the Michaels yarn. Yeah. I recently made a penguin pattern review, and I have a few patterns to show you that I made for that series. And the biggest one is this chunky penguin. I think it's called Perry the Penguin, but I used this with gumdrop yarn, and I think I love the way he turned out. These are burnished copper safety eyes that I painted, and I really like the way he turned out. My favorite penguin that I made is Loops and Knots Crochet's Standing Penguin. And this guy's gotten a lot of interest on Instagram and Etsy, but no sales yet. But I just think he's adorable. He's $30, and this chunky guy is $25. Even though he's bigger, he didn't take as much work as the Loops and Knots penguin. This pattern is adorable. Look at this standing penguin. He's so chunky, and adorable, and I love the way he turned out, and he is $20. This is a free pattern on Instagram, and I love the way he turned out as well. His little flippers are super chunky, and they just kind of stand up. I just love them. I love the way he turned out. I call this penguin my sweater penguin. I want to make more of these in different colored sweaters. I was supposed to make a scarf, but I put the little fins a little bit too high, and so I wasn't able to put the scarf on. So instead I made a hat. This pattern has lots of different variations that you can do, and I'm charging $18 for this guy. And I think that's it for the penguins. And then I also made one snowman. This snowman pattern is like this big. No, yeah, this one's a bigger snowman. I have two other snowmen that are smaller, but look how adorable. I used the plastic safety nose. I'm charging $20 for this guy, and he has a removable hat. Actually, I tacked the hat down because it kept falling off. Adorable home decor for winter. Okay, totally different category. I have two caterpillars that I made last summer that I've taken to a couple markets, but they haven't sold. They are a lot smaller in the pattern, and I used chunky yarn and furry yarn. This is sparkle yarn, and this is furry yarn. And I am charging $18 for these two guys. I just think they're so cute, and my favorite part is their embroidered eyes. This is like an OG plushie, is this blowfish. These don't get very much attention. They have cute little bobble stitches. I just think he's adorable. I had a second one, and he sold last time, but this is my one that's left. I just think he's so cute, and no one even picks him up. So maybe this summer at some of my summer markets, he will get a little more attention. My next group of plushies are my favorite category, which is turtles. I haven't made a whole lot of turtles. I usually make more of the smaller kind. This size I charge $18 for, and it's very popular, but I only have one, so definitely need to stock up on those. But I do have some blanket turtles. I have this guy, which was just, I had some leftover really thick, big yarn. I want to say this is Big Twist Plush, but he turned out huge. So I used turquoise and yellow, and all of the turtles that you're going to see here are CJ Designs turtle, and it's my favorite pattern, and I made these eyes. I think these are called princess eyes. They're in my Etsy shop. So I have this guy. I have this little one. You can see the difference between those two. I charge $30 for the big one and $18 for the small one. And I have another blanket turtle that I made using my leftover scraps. I'll show you guys my jar. I call this my jar of long strings. And I just started this. I am in love with this. Okay, so every time I have a long strand that's left over, I put it in this jar. So an example of a long strand would be this, okay? And then I just tie them all together and I make something. So I've made two different things with this strategy. I made this turtle shell, and then later you'll see a frog that I made. But I think it turns out really unique. I mean, it is literally one of a kind, but I think he's super cute. Look, he's got unicorn magic eyes. So this guy is $30, and so is this one. They're both gonna be $30. And I also made another turtle that I had to like create a different price for because he was a little bit bigger than my small turtle, but smaller than the blanket turtle. Did I just drop a turtle? What did I do with that last turtle? Yep, he fell. So this guy is 18, and this one I made with Bloom yarn. And this is actually Naughty Ball yarn for the head and the flippers. So we have 18, 22, and then this one is 30. So you can see the difference between those three. And then I have another category, which are one of my newest things I've been making are fruit turtles. So these I'm charging $40 for because they take a little more detail. They have shell accessories like stems and stripes for the fruit, and then I also made some custom eyes. So these are apple slice eyes. So I have the apple, I have a lemon with lemon eyes, and then this is the one that took me the most work, but I love the way it turned out, and it is a grape turtle. with grape eyes. So these are $40 and I have 3 of them. I have it in my to-do list to make other fruits like strawberries, watermelon, grapefruit, avocado, that kind of thing. Of plushies, I'm gonna call them one-offs. They're items that I only have one of, and a lot of them I've had for a really long time, and for one reason or another, they are not selling. But thumbs up, the next 3 markets, some of these get to go home with somebody. And the first is this really cute axolotl. I wanna say this was a free pattern, but I'll have to check the Google Doc and just see what kind of pattern this was. I think he's so cute. Most people don't know what he is because he has kind of an odd shape, but he's cute. He's a cute little guy. The next one is this, I call this Crazy Bird, and this is made with Daydream yarn or Daydreamer yarn, I can't remember, but it was something that I tried last summer where I made like 5 or 6 different plushies all in the same yarn to see how they all would turn out, and he's the one I have left over. All the other ones sold. He is $15, the axolotl is $15. The next one that I have is this large cookie. I had made this as part of a pattern test, and I have the large cookie, and then I had a bunch of little cookies, and I sold all the little ones, and all I have left is the Big Mama cookie, and she is going to be $18. I also made a bunch of cactuses. This was also part of a pattern test. I had a bunch of little ones, and then I wanted to see what XL yarn looked like in this pattern, and it's super cute. I think I need to make other little cactuses to sit next to him so that people know what he is and kind of give him a little more attention, but he is going to be $18. The next plushie, I actually made this butterfly on a plane trip to Seattle. I made like 2 or 3 different plushies on a 5-hour train trip. I'm only charging $10 for this guy because I've had him for such a long time, but he's actually really pretty. I made him with cream sparkle yarn and this really pretty medium blue. So we'll see, maybe this spring he'll sell. I also made a cupcake. I made this cupcake at my very first market last March. It was like a market where I sold maybe $300 worth of items. There was a lot of sitting around and I was just trying different things out. And I made this little cupcake. I'm charging $15 for it. Another pattern that I tried this year was hermit crabs. This is a pattern pack that is just so adorable. This was one of my favorite ones, and it's the only one that I have left, and he is $12, and he is so cute. I think this is Naughty Ball yarn, and this is Premier Parfait yarn. Super adorable. I also made a bunch of angelfish last year. Angelfish never really took off for me. I made like 22 angelfish in one sitting one day, and I just barely sold them. Like I would sell one, and then a couple months would go by and I would sell another. I ended up giving them to my sister to give to her middle schoolers as like prizes, and they loved them, so that was worth it. But I have this little guy left, and I'm charging $18 for her. Here's another Daydreamer pattern. I think it's called Daydream. I can't remember. But the Chunky Bee. So I have the Chunky Bee and I have the Crazy Bird. I think they're cute. I think maybe if I set them together, they'll get a little more attention. But because the yarn is so thick and chunky, he almost turned out a little too long. And I see a little strand here that I need to cut off. I'll fix that in a minute. Another pattern that I tried out was this volcano. I was gonna make this for a friend, and then she ended up changing her mind and choosing something else. Let me tell you what, I like the way this turned out, but what a pain in the butt all these color changes were because they are so close together. I don't think I'll ever make another one again unless somebody really asks me to. And I also think maybe he needs a little mouth, but I am charging $15 for this volcano. He looks really cute if you set him next to dinosaurs. Dinosaur volcano, kind of goes together. This next pattern was part of a pattern test. It is this Carrot Pal. I love this guy. I want to make a few more of him for spring and just put him in a basket together. I think he would be really cute and get a little more attention if he had some like him in the basket. Even different vegetables would be nice. I sadly only have one loaf cat. It's on my to-do list to make more cats sometime today maybe, but I have one loaf cat. One tiny loaf cat, and I charge $25 for my loaf cats. They are a big seller, and I have little adoption boxes for them and adoption certificates, but he's super cute. I just need to make more to go with him. I made this pattern a couple of months ago. It's this adorable little elephant. He has super thick, chunky ears. You make 2 pieces and then sew them together. And I love his braided tail, but I have just one of him. He's gonna make a perfect spring gift for somebody. I kind of had it in my mind that he would be like a baby shower gift because he has embroidered eyes and he's got all these sweet little pastel colors, but I have one elephant. What I have left, these are all of my little items that I have multiple of. Most of them I have at least more than one. So let's get started on that. I have 2 leggy frogs left over. I kind of stopped making this design. I'll show you the frog design I've been making now, but I still like these. I still think they're super cute. I might make a few more green ones to go with these, but I charge $10. I have 1 chick with hats left over. He is $8. These rubber ducks are one of my best sellers. I made 7 out of 1 gumdrop skein, and they all turned out a little bit different. Some are pink, some are purple, some are a mix, and I charge $8. I have 3 little spouting whales. I love this pattern. I just bought this pattern a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of replaced my plain whale pattern, but I like the little water drops in the back and the spouting water that comes out of the top. I have 1 in teal, 1 in turquoise, and then 1 in this purpley blue color. And I charge $8. I have 4 of these little tiny chickens. I charge $6. This is the maple chicken in Premier Parfait. I made 2 in this chocolate brown. And then I have 2 in this really pretty blue with purple combs. I have a few small items that I only have 1 or 2 of. So I thought I would show those to you. This is one of my favorite patterns. It's the flocker bird, and this is the flamingo. I definitely am gonna make more of these before Sunday because they are so popular. I love making all the different bird types, but I charge $15 for him because they're a little bit chunkier than some of my other makes. I also have 1 alien left over. He's like in this really pretty green color. He is $8. I have 1 matcha latte cup, and he is $15. I have 2 moles, but I can't find the other one. It's in this bag somewhere, but this was part of a pattern test that I did last year, and I just love the way he turned out. Super unique pattern, and I charge $7. I have 1 sparkle bunny, and I charge $8 for this guy. He's really adorable. In the sun, you probably can't see it, but he's like super sparkly and almost looks like a Pokemon character, but I really like him a lot. I only sadly have 1 little bee left over. Again, this is on my list of things to make before Sunday because these are super popular. They're only $6, and I usually make them in like every color of the rainbow, so I will be making more of this tiny bee. What's wrong? I have another flocker bird. I have this little macaw bird. I only charge $7 for him because he's a little bit smaller. He's made with Premier Parfait yarn. Super cute, $7. And then I also made these 2 snowmen for my last market, but sadly they didn't sell. I made 1 in blue and white. I'm charging $10. The original pattern is quite large, but I used Naughty Ball yarn, and they turned out to be these adorable little snowmen. My favorite part about them is their embroidered arms. I just think it gives them a lot of character, and I love their little hats and how you can like coordinate them and stuff like that. I also have a pattern that I created this year. It was my first pattern ever and the only pattern I've ever written. And I just finished my tester call. This is a free pattern on Instagram, and it is for these mini mallows. And you can really make whatever you want out of it. This one has chocolate drizzle and a strawberry on top. This is a pom-pom yarn mallow with no designs on top. This little guy is turquoise with pom-pom white chocolate drizzle on top. And then I also made this little purple one. So this was kind of one of the first ones that I made. His legs are a little bit bigger. And then I finally decided on the smaller legs, but I'll still go ahead and bring him to the market. And I have 4 of these all together. I also made this little tiny squish penguin. This was another one of my favorite patterns, very popular at markets. On my list to make are these. They're only $6 and they're very popular with kids, and some people call them stress penguins because you can like squish them. I have another small penguin that has a fishing hat. I actually have 2 of them, but the other one is in this bag somewhere. When I find it, I'll pull it out. But this one's hat comes off, and the other one that I made, I actually crocheted the penguin inside. but he is $6. All of these $6 items are really popular. I also made this free penguin on Instagram. This is $12. I love the design of his feet, how they're a little more than a bobble stitch. And I also like the design of his fins or flippers, these things right here, and the way that those turned out. So he is $12. I have one of all of these because it was part of a pattern review that I did for penguins. So if you want to go back and watch that, please go find that. And then I also made this other chunky one. I love this one. I have this one in a larger size, and I also have it in a chenille that's a little bit smaller. So I have two of these. This one is $18 and the smaller one is $12, and this one is $12. So it just depends on how long it took me and how big it is. That's how I create my prices. I have 10 bees in varying spring Valentine colors. These are all going to be $15. So I have this one with some gumdrop. This is Naughty Ball yarn. And this one I kind of freehanded. It just has hearts all over it. And I kind of tried my hand at just trying to create those hearts as I went along. I like the way it turned out. I think it's really cute. This is a white bee with gumdrop stripes. This one is a pale yellow with just pink and some red wings on top. This is one that I've had for a while. This is frosting yarn. I don't like the way this one turned out as much, and he's the only one that I have left from last spring. Let's hope he sells. And then I have this really pretty red Valentine bee with some different colored stripes and some peach wings on top. I definitely want to add the blush to them. I think it gives them a little bit of more character. This is Naughty Ball hot pink yarn with purple stripes and pom-pom wings. I like the way that one turned out. That's one of my favorites. This is gumdrop yarn with red wings. I'm sorry if I show you things too quickly. It's just me trying to show you so many things. And this one turned out a little bit smaller for some reason. I think thought I had the pattern memorized, and then when I went to do it, I just made it, I probably missed a few rounds, but I like the way it turned out. And all of these bees are Crochet Grove's free bee pattern on Instagram, and it's now my favorite bee pattern. But this one has peach wings. I just tried to incorporate different colors so they'd look very happy and springy and Valentine-y. I have 17 of this new pattern that I've been making by Loops and Knots Crochet. It's Sarah's free octo pattern, and I really like it. I think it is just like a pretty big step up from this octo that I was making. It just has a little more character. I actually think I'm charging $8 for this octo, and I think it's so cute. I made two in this magenta color. I made two in this pink colorway. I made two in this turquoise chenille basics. I made two in this purpley blue colorway. And I made three in the mystical purpley yarn. I made two in this more of like a teal mystical yarn. See, and this is one of my favorites. I made two in this blue color, and I think that is, oh, and I also made two in this green colorway. So that's a total of 17 octos. I think that's enough to last me the 3 markets that I have in spring. It's these and the frogs are one of my only items that I market prepped, where I think I made enough. Everything else I'll probably have to make a few more of in between markets. Okay, next I have my Mama Mallow that goes with the mini mallows that I was talking about before. So this is the mom, and then the little mini babies are part of that pattern on Instagram that's free. And I also found the second mole. This is the female. She has a bow in her hair. The other one that I showed you was the male. And then I also found my other chunky penguin in the big pile. So I have 2 little ones like this. I have 2 of Mama Makes Yarns peg dolls. This is one of my favorite patterns, and I want to make at least one of the farm set and the woodland set because they are super popular and I just love them. His beak looks a little wonky. I'll have to fix that. And I also found, okay, almost at the end, I have a few more things to show you. I found my other little penguin with a hat. This one is actually attached, and he is $6. I have one Kirby left over. I used to have a huge basket of Kirby's, and they can be popular. I think I need to make the original color of the Kirby, the pink Kirby, because when I make Kirby's in different colors, people don't know what it is. So I'll add that to my to-do list to make some original pink Kirby's with the bigger feet. I was just at Disney and I saw those in Epcot in Japan, and I saw the Kirby and I was like, I need to make it look like that because that looks like what Kirby is supposed to look like. And then I have one little woodland pack. I think it's called Woodland Curly Pack or something. I made one of these tigers. I want to go back and make all of them in the pack, at least 2 of all of them, because they are so cute, so easy to make, and the finished product is really, really good. So I really like this tiger. I made quite a few of these last year, and I only have one left, and he is $10. The last pattern I'm going to show you is a bee pattern that I recently started making, and I am in love. I think this is going to be my new favorite bee pattern, and it's this sitting bee, and I just love it. Wait, let me smile for Instagram. Okay, that's the end of that. I put really pretty eyes on all of these. This one is Unicorn Magic, and this one has, I think, princess eyes. These also might be Unicorn Magic. And then this guy has brown painted eyes. I just think they are so cute, and I like the way that they can like sit upright. I just think they have a lot of character. They would be great for kids, great for a desk friend. Easter, Valentine's Day, I can think of lots of different things you could do with these bees. So I definitely want to make more of them. But yeah, this is my last pattern. I have 3 of those. I know this video was like really long, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope I was able to give you some ideas of what you could make for your upcoming market. Don't forget, I have a Google Doc linked down below with most of these patterns. If there's a pattern that I mentioned that you don't see in the Google Doc, please message me and let me know, and I will make sure I get that right out to you, because I know when you see something that you really want to make and you go try to find the pattern, it can be very frustrating. So please let me know if you don't see what you are looking for, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. I will be putting out a weekly crochet vlog this week, so look out for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.